doing it. I'm doing it. I really, really do it. Does it need more volume?
Just a fraction more, if that's right.
Fraction more, doesn't it?
Just a little bit more.
Okay, bit of a change of location. We are now at the new theatre in Cardiff, where Dapper is going to be performing tonight on his show. It's his 32nd show, I think, over the UK tour.
Good room, isn't it?
Yeah. So obviously, if you don't know, Dapper was a previous guest of the Central Club, and also Nicola went on the Menace to Sobriety because obviously he had his past experiences with cocaine and alcohol as well. So let's go and have a chat with him. Oh, it's lovely in here, isn't it? Oh, look.
Hello.
There's the main man.
How you doing? All right.
What's happening? How are you
for
doing?
joining me, man.
I know. Looking well.
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, just getting ready, man. This is the moment we do the sound, the lighting. We get a feel for the venue. We run like a Q to Q check and just feel the vibe. It's every location's different, so it's like feeling the vibe.
Yeah. And this is such an old building. It's such an iconic building.
Mate, it looks amazing. It looks like I should be doing fucking Romeo and Juliet or something. You know what I mean? Not big jokes.
Okay, so the tour, Out of Character, you're now on your 32nd show, I believe?
32nd show, yeah.
Give us
32nd sold out show, 32 shows in a row sold out. It's crazy because 10 years ago, I mean, we just done the Shepherd's Bush Empire, right, last week, and 10 years ago, almost to the day, my last tour got completely cancelled, and I'd sold out the Shepherd's Bush Empire, and it was cancelled, lost the TV show, lost the tour, lost the money, lost the house, lost my mental health, my sanity, and then fast forward 10 years later, this tour's like 3 times bigger. We've added more dates. It's all selling out. We sold out that Shepherd's Bush Empire. Had a wicked show there. It's been quite emotional, but it's great. But it's crazy. But yeah.
You're two totally different people from back then to now.
Yeah.
Hence the show Out of Character. Did you ever see yourself doing this again?
No, man. I it's been crazy, really, because I'm sober. Everything's come together from the sobriety. I don't think I deserved it. I think I was. I don't. What you put out there, you get back. I think I had a lot to learn. Do you know what I mean? I had a lot of things to work out, and I think when the time was right, once I had a real message of something important to talk about, it all sort of come back together. But it's been wild. But I got my sobriety to thank for it, man.
We spoke on the podcast about how you've had to adapt and change your kind of content when it comes to comedy. Is that evidence in this show?
No, I don't think so. I think that because I'm sober, I'm sharper and I'm more clued up, and I know how to say things. But what I talk about and what I say, there's no filters. I don't come out here and think I don't want to upset anyone, or I hope I don't get cancelled. That doesn't cross my mind. The difference is now, right? Back then, the stuff that got me in trouble was blown out of proportion. I mean, in comedy, you've got to find the line, right?
Yeah.
And I often get it wrong because I'm just wild. And, you learn from it. But I still push the boundaries. But the difference is now I know me and I'm a good person. I feel like I'm a good person. Whereas back then, I weren't sure because of what the press said and because I was drinking and doing drugs and running wild and my morals or whatever. But now I know I'm a good person. I'm kind of stood here knowing that nothing I say is in malice. It's all for fun.
Yeah. Do you feel like back then you had to prove yourself a bit as well, like to prove people that I'm not a bad person?
Yeah, I think that I was just like 10 years ago, I was a different person. I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to be famous. I knew that being controversial got clicks. Yeah. And having a big following to me was, I was like just showing off. But now I look at it all like there is a responsibility with your message. But I'm still a twat, right? Do you know what I mean? I'm never going to stop being a knobhead.
People love you for that, don't they?
Yeah, I'm not going to stop being a knobhead. It's fun.
I think looking at some of the content you have put up of like the crowds and the reactions of people on your Instagram that I've seen, it feels like now as well, you probably feel more comfortable with the crowd because it's more redefined to who like your content. Like, before you'd probably speak and you was unsure who you might offend in the crowd, but I think the people who come now are true diehard fans.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been quite a mad journey being open about battling with cocaine and alcohol and being suicidal, and the podcast, taking everyone on the journey through my first year of sobriety, you know, nearly losing my family, becoming a father again and going through that pregnancy. And I'm very open and honest with them. And I meet a lot of people at the shows that are like, I'm X days sober because of you, or I've reevaluated my things, or you've got me through some hard times. So there's like an emotional connection, and there's still people that are just here because they're wondering what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? They're like, if I'm going to crash and burn, they want to be in the same room and fucking witness it.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I mean, the team will tell you there's so much love, man. You'll see it tonight.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. Nick, do you want to talk about?
Yeah. So, what was life like, rewind a few years ago, when you were using alcohol and cocaine? What was kind of like, in particular, the come down? What were the days like after using alcohol and cocaine?
We spoke about this briefly before, but I had a real bad problem with the come downs. So much so that I thought that I was bipolar. I never associated the drink and drugs to completely losing my head. I had, and we spoke about it before, but I had really weird episodes of like fight or flight where I was like, fuck everything's going wrong, and I used to run out of the house and leave the house and fuck you and fuck this, and like I used to lose my head and think that everyone hated me and that me and the missus weren't going to work out and that my life was over. Really like aggressive outbursts and crying, and you know, and I'm not saying every time that I got on it, but every time I got on it, I had severe fucking depression for days. But sometimes it was another level. It was like, you know, manic outbursts of anger.
Okay. And what were the thoughts of suicide every time, or just
No. I only
on
had
certain
one.
occasions,
I only ever had one. I mean, I had some fucking dark, real dark come downs. Do you know what I mean? Where I was just like, I can't do this anymore, and I'd weep and cry for no reason. But I only ever had one suicidal episode where after my father had passed away, and I broke up with my missus, and I really felt like I couldn't carry on. Luckily, I rang the Samaritans, but towards the end of when, you know, I had to go sober this time round, like 580 days ago, toward 82 or 83, I think. But towards the end, I was getting close to fucking losing my head on the come downs. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I was becoming a different person. So I could see that jump. Do you know what I mean?
And what changed for you at that time for you to say, right, no more now, this is it?
Just losing my family, just losing my kids and my missus, just seeing it affect them. The thing is, I've been doing cocaine. I've been doing it for, it was part of my culture growing up, like 15, 16-year-old, getting on it, and I'm like nearly 40, right? So I've been doing it casually as like a thing for so long. I think that now it's different for the way that the coke is and whatever's in the coke, or whatever the potency is, or the shit they cut it with, I don't know. But if I was to experience it now for the first time, I think it would blow my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think kids these days now, because I can't remember, I can't remember having come downs like that when I first started doing coke. I mean, I'm not saying the coke was better, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway.
And over the years, you said like you've used coke for a number of years. Did you see kind of like how it increased and how more prevalent it became and how more people were taking it as opposed to when you first started using cocaine? So would you say, you know, now to back then, there's more use of it?
20 years ago, it was like kind of like a few groups of people done them, and a few people do it, and like me and my mates did it and stuff like that, and some people didn't do it. Now everyone does it. I mean, I had my I probably shouldn't say this, but I was at the Shepherd's Bush Empire, and then there was an after party after that, and then after I left, I bumped into a few people, and because I'm sober now, I was looking around, and I was like, who ain't on coke?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Who ain't? Because I can see it now. Yeah. So I think if anyone is like I used to be and would take it away with them and go and do it on their own, or suffered really bad come downs, it's fucking bad, man.
And what was the main struggle when you went into sobriety, and how did you overcome that? So what was the hardest part of becoming sober? What was...
Not being able to switch off and release and blow out. And for me, using cocaine was like a fuck you to the world for me. So when I get to the end of the week and I'll be like, fuck this. I hope the swearing's all right, but it's, yeah, sorry. But when I get to the end of the week, or if something bad had happened, or even if something good had happened and I wanted to fucking lose myself, the hardest thing in sobriety for me was not having that fucking, being able to open a valve, do you know what I mean? So, you know, I had no way to cope with life. I didn't know how to cope with stress or with life or with just the sunshine being out and it being a bank holiday weekend. I didn't know, you know, so the hardest thing for me was probably the triggers of wanting to sesh. I found out very quickly that my problem was cocaine.
Okay,
and I'll tell you how I found that out was that when I first went sober and I was like, I'm dedicating myself to sobriety, I'm never going back this time round, I'm never going back. My mates were all at the pub, it was a bank holiday weekend, the sun was out and I was like, do you know what? I'm missing out so much, man. Why can't I be down there and socialise with them? And then I suddenly thought, well, I can be down there. I can just go down there and drink alcohol-free beer. And then suddenly I thought to myself, fuck that, that's boring. I'd rather be here working. What am I actually missing is sniffing my brains out.
Yeah.
And once I took that out of the equation, I didn't want to be around them people, or I didn't want to be out in the pub. I wanted to be with my kids and my missus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of tips would you give to anybody, you know, who's wants to start that journey of sobriety? Like, kind of, what tips would you give them to kind of being able to manage, you know, I suppose the early days, and I suppose it's still difficult now, you know, now and again. So what would you say were your tips? I know you said that just not avoiding, but not going to the pub. And
I think, look, listen, look, when you first go sober, you look at it like this ain't going to work. I can't do this. This is, my whole life is changing. And just any tips that I give to anyone is that's bollocks, right? It's you have just built up habits and routines. Now I don't think, when I'm around people that are doing coke, it's not like an urge for me, you know. It's like it reminds me of an old version of me. But you can 110% completely change your life. All you've got to do is work on yourself. Like, the most important part of it for me was realising that the drink and the drugs wasn't the problem. It was the solution to me not liking being myself. I needed to escape myself. I couldn't sit comfortably in a pub without being off me nut or around people. So you've got to work out what it is you don't like about yourself. You've got to write every day, write how you feel every day, manage your feelings, go to counselling if you need to do counselling. You need to find something else to replace the buzz, you know. So I did boxing or running and stuff like that for the endorphins to get a buzz. I smashed the fuck out of loads of chocolate after every gig just to get off, because I feel like I'm getting off me nut on something. Do you know what I mean? I have to consume something. But my biggest tip would be is just get to know yourself again without the drink and drugs. Don't go to the pub. Don't hang around with people that do drugs. I mean, and listen, the truth of it is you're going to completely change your circle of friends, because your circle of friends is based around interests. Fuck them off, man. If they're still sniffing drugs, cut them out of your life. It's as simple as that. If you want to go sober for your family or for your mental health or whatever, fuck the pub, fuck your friends, just get rid of it, put yourself first for 6 months. That's what I did. I hid away, I put my phone down, I didn't let no one see me, I didn't interact, I just, for 6 months, I was like, I've got to do this. And now I sit here like, man, I'm so glad I've done that. I'm so glad, because now I don't need a drink or I don't need drugs to like myself. And now I've got all this free time in my life to do good things, you know.
Yeah. And I suppose financially as well, isn't it? What you spend on drink and drugs is good, you know, compared to what you don't. I know
imagine how
we've
much
got to bring
I used to have
money
to
into
drink.
it, but it might be a motivator for somebody, you know. I know with Jacob, the biggest self-loathing for him is when he had a night out. That week's salary was gone on one night out, so I think of the self-loathing. So that aspect of it as well.
I think when we talk about Jacob, when we talk about suicide, right? To anyone out there that's using drugs, they'd be like, suicide it's not even something, but it wasn't for Jacob, was it?
No.
Right? And the thing is, imagine if you do something fucking stupid that you regret. Like, I mean, seriously stupid, that you regret, that costs you your job, your relationship, or something like that when you're sniffed up. And then you're dealing with that on the come down, It's very easy for you to make that decision.
Yeah.
And you said you only done it once, but it only takes that one time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly,
I mean, there was plenty of come downs where I was like, I just can't handle this. But I mean, yeah, when I look back at how I felt, not just on the come down, when I look back at how I felt in life in general, for the last 10, 15 years around using drugs, because I was either drunk or hungover, or you know, when I look now at how I feel in comparison to how I felt for so long, it breaks my heart, you know.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, I'm glad that I got sober now for my kids and stuff, but I just think if anyone's out there and they're struggling with it, now's the time to stop.
Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely to see you again.
Yeah.
What you know, what's next, Dap? What's next after this? I know you said you've got an extended tour. Are you going to go back to the podcast? Or?
Yeah. One thing I've learned through sobriety as well is you can't demand too much of yourself, man. And the podcast was amazing. It got me sober, but also it was dark, man. I was leaning into a lot of darkness on others, and I had to find a way to be funny. Do you know what I mean? For this tour, and my missus was pregnant. And I just couldn't commit to everything. So I put that on the back burner. But now we're coming to the end of the tour. I've got a new podcast studio. I'm about to relaunch the podcast, which I'm excited about. Because I was getting a little bit like, you know how intense the podcasts are. I was getting a little bit like, fuck me, this is killing me a little
Well, it's
bit.
like counselling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, and you know, you're offloading not just yourself, but their stories as well. You know.
And I wanted to write this show and make it good. But I've written a film called Sessions that I've just raised the money for. Big film, going to have some great actors in it, and it's all about sobriety. No, it's all about men that when the party's got to stop and they can't stop, right? Yeah. And it's all based around suicide. It's a film very much about you know what Jacob went through, but cocaine culture.
Yeah.
Because if
You mean British culture?
Yeah, British culture.
Yeah. And how do you think? Not that we can stop it, but we need to get a grip on this because society, because of the next generation.
Yeah.
I fear for my grandchildren.
Yeah, I mean,
what are we going to do?
I was blown
People
away
need
by
to
our
get
podcast.
a
When we
grip
done
on
our
it,
podcast, I thought to myself, this is something that I really want to, because I didn't know that it
was
could.
really eager.
I got hold of you after. Well, when I saw your podcast together, I said I really wanted to talk to you, because I always thought to myself, a big thing for me was, how can I talk to the lads about cocaine? Because my lads, if I go to my mates and go, boys, the coke, they'd go, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
Have a line. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how can you connect? How can you connect with people talking about drug culture when it's so fun? And when I saw an opportunity in what you were talking about, when I saw that there actually is like a, what would you say? It's like a delirium.
An excited delirium.
An excited delirium that can be created from the mixture of cocaine. That could be the cause of suicide.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, I fucking had that delirium where I was losing my mind. So if you actually saying to someone, by the way, cocaine can cause you to commit suicide. You don't have to have been having shit going on in your life or going. It can.
Yeah.
And that's a message that I thought could punch home, and that's fed into my film.
Yeah.
And that's good. Yeah, and I just think that you know that train spotting. Film is a great way to talk to a generation, because Train Spotting spoke about heroin.
Yeah.
You know, like you got what was it, Danny Dyer's film? I can't remember what it's called now. Fucking
The Business.
No, the other one was about pills and all that.
Yeah.
But what film have we had that's about cocaine culture?
No.
You know, that shows
Well,
the
the
dark.
business, but the right side, not the wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, of
but I'm just
course.
talking about everyday lads doing
Yeah.
cocaine. I mean, you see us all everyone's doing cocaine in the club and in the bar and everything like that, but where's the camera showing them at home on their own?
That's it, yeah. And I think for us, it's about kind of harm reduction, because we'd rather people alive doing cocaine than dead, kind of like not doing cocaine. So I think it's all about kind of the harm reduction, so that the following day, what they can do to keep themselves safe, and not just them, but family, friends around them, being aware of when somebody's in a come down. And I think if we reduce the stigma and all start talking about it, then, you know, and I think what you're doing and celebrities coming forward with their sobriety journeys, I think it does motivate people.
Well,
I know boys who watch your podcast and, you know, and they live by that, and what keeps them
Yeah,
going.
that's what I'm
So
keen-
I
that's
think
what
we
I'm
just
keen-
need more
I'm keen to
talking
get back
about
to-
it,
I'm
isn't
keen-
it? Being
yeah.
open and honest about it.
I'm
is-
keen to get back to it, and I see a lot of lads in here that come to the shows like proper geezers. Do you know what I mean? Stone Island tattoos and all that, and they're like, man, yeah, you still being a twat sober. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what someone said to me last night. They was like, it's great that you're still a twat sober because it's inspired me to be sober, like that sober
still
can
be
be fun.
myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can still,
yeah.
I'm still out there being a knobhead, but I mean, I just don't drink and do drugs anymore. But what was I going to say? I was going to say something else as well. But yeah, no, yeah, thank you, and thanks for
good luck
having me
with
on. And
everything. And
Yeah, no, honestly, thank you for letting us come and see this. Can't wait to see the show.
Yeah.
But mate, you inspire me to keep going.
Thank
keep
you,
going
man.
and going, like, do you know what I mean?
Thank
so,
you, mate.
yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, the times we're living in right now, there is a lot of naysayers out there, a lot of people who want to try and stop people doing what they do, but just keep doing what you're doing because
Yeah.
you're touching so many people
Thank
on
you,
all
man.
levels.
Thank you, and yeah, come see the show, man. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That got me a bit emotional. At the
Nice
end
one,
there.
Dad.
Yeah.
I'm really doing it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing it. I'm really, really doing it. Does it need more volume?
Just a fraction more, if that's all right.
Fraction more, doesn't it?
Just a little bit more.
I'm doing it. I'm really doing it.
I love it. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing it. And then deeper, like that. Deeper. What gives me shit? I say, right, come on, in here. Me and you,
Wrestle,
right
yeah.
now. Go on, fuck off.
No, that'd be good, that would.
Last man standing.
All right, look.
That's lovely.
If you're in here, can they see you? Where's the point of view from the... Yeah, basically. Your point of view from the top.
Kev, yeah?
Yeah, indeed, that's me.
So what you do?
I'm Dan's warm-up as well as his comedy director. That's my.
So
my
you
job.
do all the jokes, do you? Or?
I don't do all the jokes. He does all the jokes.
Yeah.
How's it best to put it? Like, he's like an Olympic swimmer with no sense of direction. So they all fall out of his face quite quickly. I joke about it in the show, but all I did to help him write the show was record everything he said for about 3 months, and then just sort of filtered the bits that could
That could go.
that can go,
That
that
could
can
go.
go, that can go. Then we'd go round and we did a load of like open spots and little tiny gigs where he'd test it out and we go, all right, that works. So we just always sort of fettling and messing around with it. That's basically what that involves.
It's quite interesting you say that because Dapper's always been known to be quite controversial. I know this is called out of character. Any jokes in there you said that can't go in?
Yeah, but not. Like at some point we have to go. That's probably a bit much. But in the early processes, there's no wrong answers, and anything that comes out of his face, I sit and I accept, and we quite frankly laugh about. But then we look at it and go, well, we're comedians, so we've got quite a high threshold for sick humour. Like if you imagine, like firemen, air services, all the people that have got gallows humour. It's the same for comics. It takes a lot to make a comic laugh, and it usually has to be pretty horrific.
All right.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
then when you go, well, they're not going to really like that, so we monitor it. But most of the time, do you know what? I think it's actually just not a paranoia, but a fear he has from back when he was cancer.
Of course, yeah.
That sort of guides that fear that he's going to say something horrific, but he really doesn't, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's not that guy anymore.
Yeah, and I suppose sometimes, like if you're overly cautious, it might be lack of the jokes
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
make,
yeah.
and maybe you're there to bring that out more as well.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, and on occasion, you're exactly right. And we say, no, you can say that, and
Yeah.
it's all right to say that, and it's all right to express that opinion. It's
Of
not,
course.
it's not bad.
Yeah.
And I just in no point want to squash him or contain him.
Yeah.
Because he's just a powerhouse.
He is brilliant, isn't he?
He's crazy. Yeah.
Have you known him long then?
I've literally known him for just over a year. So I've only known Sober Dan. So I've only known that guy.
Did you know of?
I knew of him, and he tells me of the man he once was.
Yeah.
But to me, honestly, that guy's a complete stranger. I struggle to see it in him now.
That's amazing, mate. Honestly, Kev, I hope you have a wonderful time,
Wicked, man.
Take
Thank you.
care.
Thanks
Take
very
care.
much. Cheers, man.
Okay, that's us. Do you know what? Really nice to see Dapper in that element. Obviously, we speak to him behind the scenes and obviously on the podcast, but to see him just before he's about to go on show, seeing him warm up and stuff was really special. And I want to say a big thank you to Dapper for letting us go behind the scenes and see what he does. I know Nicola got a bit emotional, obviously asking those questions as well. But he's doing an amazing job, and I really think that he is touching home to that demographic of people who use cocaine and alcohol. I know there's going to be a load of people here tonight sniffed up, but the fact that he can still resonate with so many people in sobriety is amazing, you know? So big shout out to Dapper. We're gonna watch the show. I know it's gonna be a stormer. Stay central.